Hello everyone. I'm going live. Can you hear me? If you can hear me, please type yes. All right, please type yes if you are already watching. Oh, thanks everyone. Thanks for your comments before I come out on this show. Okay, so I'm going live right now. Just want to make sure everybody can hear me. And yeah, before I deep dive into DBS tonight. Okay, great. Okay, thanks for your comments. Thanks, Maria. Thanks, Tay. Thanks, everyone. All right. So tonight is a very special night because firstly, I'm covering DBS. It's actually a part 2 of what I covered previously about 2 weeks ago on UOB. All right, did you watch the UOB coverage, the deep analysis on UOB? Right. So if you watch UOB, please let me know. Type comment UOB, and this is the sequel. And the reason why I'm doing this is because like in Singapore, there are 3 major banks, right? It's very good as an investor before you invest in anything. It's good to compare between apple and orange, okay? And just basically comparing different choices before you decide which part of your money you want to allocate into these companies, all right? So, okay, Chikyo, you have not watched UOB. Okay, I'm going to share with you. Actually, you can watch it in the next level, All-Star, this Facebook group. Alternatively, you can also go to my YouTube channel to catch it, okay, so that you really have a holistic picture. So now I'm just going to share screen, and today, right, it's a DBS deep dive, but also stay all the way to the end because now it's 7:30, right? 8:30. Remember, now every week we have a challenge, right? So we have a challenge. So this week's challenge is to sing a song. I'm going to do this challenge at the end together with Tabata exercise. Okay, do you guys love exercise? Okay, because I think it's very important to stay healthy, especially during COVID-19 period. So at the end of this workshop, I will also do a Tabata exercise, and I'm actually inviting 2 experienced fitness coach to be here. To do the Tabata exercise with all of you, all right? So actually they're already outside. So today I'm in office. Okay, so let me just check your comments on the Facebook group so that I can see all of your comments in between, okay? So to stay. Right. Okay, let's get started. So once again, the reason why I think DBS is an interesting stock to look at. Okay, actually before COVID, it was relatively decent. Banks in Singapore, they generally perform very stable. Their earnings are also very stable because Singapore generally is a very stable economy, right? So, but because of COVID-19, it did drop quite significantly, in my opinion, close to almost like slightly above 20%. Okay, it once dropped even below $20. Now it's hovering slightly above $20, right? So it's like a 20% drop, which whenever there's a drop, right, you need to ask yourself, is this a good opportunity or is this a crisis, right? So how do you really differentiate between, is this an opportunity or is this a crisis? Then you really need to see, go and deep dive into the companies and see whether this company, is it still doing good or maybe it's permanently affected, right? So if it's permanently affected, then you probably don't want to go into investment, right? But if it's a good opportunity in terms of it's probably a temporary impact, then you can consider whether you want to put some of your money into investing any company, right? So it's the same analogy for everything. So so just now, if you missed the 1 hour UOB analysis, you can actually go to this link, bit.ly/UOB Chloe, where I actually cover, it's like a 1 hour webinar. I cover much more in depth into another bank, big bank in Singapore, right? UOB, right? So if you missed it, you can go to that link. So today I'm covering part 2, okay, of whether banks are in trouble right now. Okay, so what do you guys think? Do you think banks are in trouble? If you think banks are in trouble, right, please type trouble. Because why most of the time like we generally think banks are in trouble right now, because have to do with the interest rate. And I covered during my previous part exactly why is the government changing the interest rate, how does interest rate affect the banks, right? So I cover much more in depth over there, but really mainly because the interest rates have been lowered to almost zero, so they really cannot lower anymore, right? So that's why the banks, they have very little interest, the margin to earn from, and that's why their profit has been really thin during the recent few months due to COVID-19. Okay, so John Ma said no. Okay, so so you think banks are not in trouble? Okay, great. So maybe you are really looking in terms of the long horizon, long time perspective, right? Then you think, maybe given time, the economy will recover, the Singapore economy will continue to do well, right? So I think it's good to really think from a broader perspective, a longer perspective, rather than a short-term COVID time span. Okay, so DBS, in fact, it's actually the largest, the largest bank in Singapore, and out of these three banks, which is UOB, OCBC, and DBS, right? These three very large banks, DBS is the only government-linked company. Okay, and do let me know, do you like the fact that DBS is government linked? Okay, if you like the fact that it's government linked, please type like. Okay, and also give the video some likes as well in the meantime. Okay, John Ma said that when the economy recovers, they will be the first to bounce back. Yes, I agree on that, because when the economy recover, the interest rate will be increased, right? That's when the banks, they will have factor margin, and when the economy recovers, more loans will also be lent out, okay, because businesses want to expand, or maybe people want to buy houses, want to buy more big items, they will also want to loan from the banks. So that's why when economy recovers, banks are definitely one of the first industries to be recovered as well, to bounce back. Okay, so do you like, don't like, Chico, don't like, why you don't like? Okay, JK Tan say like. Okay, so for myself, I think I quite like the fact that it's government linked, because government won't let it go wrong, in my opinion lah. Because just like SIA lah, right? It's like the representation of Singapore, SIA. Even though SIA has been burning money so much, right? But then, well, you can never see SIA really go down, because it's backed by the government and also represent the Singapore brand. So in my opinion, I like the fact that it's actually government linked. But of course, if it's government linked, is this a sound business from the beginning? It's also very important. SIA, in my opinion, is not a sound business. Airline is very competitive, especially during this COVID-19. Nobody dare to travel, right? They are burning so much money every single day. On the other hand, let's take a look at DBS. Even though it's government linked, how is this doing as a business? Okay, so the first thing that we will want to look at in terms of whether is this a good bank to invest in is the first criteria. I'll be covering a few criteria. If you have watched my DBS, my previous UOB before, some of the criteria are repetitive, but I think it's good to recap, okay? Because the first time you learn, maybe you get a better idea, but the more you get familiar with it, the better you will get, right? So recap while learning something new regarding DBS, all right? So the first thing is the deposit growing, okay? And why deposits are so important to banks is because this is the cheapest source of funding to them. Okay, so what do they do with the deposits? So once they get customers, they get the clients to deposit money with them, right? All they need to do is to pay very little bit, a bit of interest. In fact, now it's like almost zero. So you almost earn, you earn also very little money for depositing your money in a bank, but you just think that it's safe. That's why you put it there, right? To earn a little bit of interest. So they just give you a little bit of interest. In return, they use your money, they can lend it to someone else, right? When they lend it to someone else, to other businesses, or maybe other individuals, the interest rate is definitely higher, and that's how they earn the difference, right? So when they have growth in deposits, it's definitely a very good sign, because it shows that firstly, the people have confidence in the bank, and that's why they're willing to put the money in the bank. And second thing is they have more cash to play with, to earn more money for the banks itself, right? So that is the first criteria you want to look at. And now it's quiz time, all right? So since a lot of you are watching right now, right? So which bank do you think that actually leads, like the market share in terms of bank deposit in Singapore? Let's talk about the Singapore context. And if you know, okay, since only have three choices, right? It's DBS, UOB, and OCBC, right? So can you help me rank? Okay, if you think UOB is the first one, then you put UOB first, DBS second, OCBC third. This is not the answer, but just for example, okay? Help me rank. Where do you think, or which bank do you think that has the highest, followed by the middle and the last. All right. So Raymond think DBS is the first. Okay. How about the second and the third? Do you know? The DBS, POSB. Yeah, you know, I read this very interesting history about POSB. And last time my grandmother always say like DBS is post office, right? They are quite confused. Like, how come they say POSB or DBS is a post office? But apparently POSB really used to be a post office. So that's why they call it, the older generation call it a post office, but over time has transformed, like has evolved. It's no longer a post office, but it's quite interesting. So Charlie think that the first one is DBS, followed by UOB, last by OCBC. Wow, hey, a lot of you have the same answer. Okay, fantastic. Okay, let's take a look at the real answer, and then based by percentage, also based by percentage. POSB is Poor People Bank. Ayo, why like that? Why Poor People Bank? Okay, so according to Morningstar, when they actually did very in-depth research on the market share, in Singapore itself, POSB, which is DBS, leads the market in terms of deposit 25%. All right, compared to UOB, which is a 21% deposit, and last but not least, followed by OCBC, which is 17%. So you guys get it spot on, correct? Okay, so well, I don't think POSB is for poor people lah. A majority of the Singaporeans actually put our money inside POSB, but actually I don't have a POSB account. Why? Oh, I think the reason why I don't have a POSB account because because OCBC was the first one that launched the 360 account, the current account, right? Where you have higher interest rate if you unlock certain things, which I thought it was a first mover advantage. And that's why at that time I decided to deposit my money inside OCBC. Okay, so subsequently after that, the other banks also start coming out. UOB follow up with UOB1, and then POSB also follow up with, I don't know, the multiplier account. But yeah, but I think it's quite troublesome to open multiple banks. So eventually that is some kind of stickiness that banks can have. If you already have the money inside, it's tendency not to switch to other banks, but of course it's not like super sticky, not like a super economic mode, but this is something that you can consider. So that is for DBS, right? So if you want to look at exactly as the deposit has been growing, actually all this information can be found in the annual report. Okay, so I'm just sharing with you exactly what I found in the annual report, and you take it as a reference. Basically, you search by keywords, right? Control F, and then you just search deposits, and then you scroll down, find. This chart will come up. So you can see that 2018. The deposits, it's about 393 billion, and then goes to 2019. So it was last year, right? It increased to 404 billion. So this is a good sign because we do want to see more people depositing money into the bank, right? So Clarence is asking, before OCBC 360, it's always cash under pillow. Why? Oh, because before OCBC 360, I was a student. So I had very little money. I basically just put inside any bank. I think last time I put inside OCBC as well, but the interest rate was very low. But when they opened up the 360, then I also started working. So that's why I decided to really put my money more inside the 360. But of course, the reason why I'm doing 360 inside of fixed deposit, right? Because many Singaporeans also like to invest in fixed deposit or unit trust. I don't do that because I invest. So I like my money to be as liquid as possible. So while I'm putting my money in the bank, you also have a higher interest. So that was my intention. And I think it's very important for you to have this investment mindset. Try to make sure your asset, your cash, it's liquid, so that when opportunities come, you can use them as quickly as you wanted, right? So Square. What is Square? Square is a payment. I don't use Square to deposit money. All right. So that is the first criteria, growth in deposits. The second thing is you want to look at net interest margin. So this actually has to do with the first criteria we just talked about, right? The more deposits that you have, the more money that you can lend out to someone else, to other businesses, and that's how you earn the interest difference, right? You earn the interest difference, and that is called net interest margin, right? So actually, with all three banks, right, the majority of the revenue still generate from interest. So basically they earn the difference. So that's why the higher the margin, the thicker it is, definitely the banks earn more money in return. But because of COVID situation right now, the margin is thin throughout all banks. Okay, but let's take a look. Okay, so you can see that this is back to 2019. Okay, before the COVID even happened. Later on, okay, we have this part, right? We have part one and part two. Part two, I'm going to cover the quarterly result of the recent quarter result, recent half a year result. So already have been 2 quarters, right? So I've been covering what happened in the 2 quarters, but the first part I'll be covering back in 2019 and how has it evolved over time. All right. So if you find this video helpful, do remember to share it out as well, so that more people can really learn how they can invest and how they should be studying banks before investing in any one of them. All right. So you can see the net interest income actually increased 7% from 2018 to 2019. So in a way, it's actually a very healthy increase. So the economy has been really doing well over the past few years. So you can see that net interest margin is hovering slightly above 2%, which is generally that is the standard rate of the most of the banks in Singapore as well. Okay, different from US. So Singapore usually is about 2%. All right. So this is something that we want to see, but of course we also want to compare later on with other banks. So at the end of this video, I will also be comparing UOB and DBS, so that you can really compare apple to apple and see which one you want to consider to invest. All right. But once again, this is for educational purposes, not to recommend any stocks, but some of the positions that some of the stocks that I'm sharing right now, actually, I've already taken position. So depending on you should do your further research before you decide to invest into them. All right. So the third one is you need to look at the loan portfolio. Is it a diversified portfolio in terms of the banks? And the reason why we want to look at whether is it diversified is because just like any investment that we are doing right now, we don't want to put all our money into one basket, right? Right, all our eggs into one basket, right? So that's why when banks are loaning out money, they also want to make sure they are diversifying their risk by giving out different type of loans, right? So that's why if you check on your DBS, you can see that firstly, they are also pretty similar to UOB. They are also diversified in different regions as well. So what do I mean by different region? You can see that about 63% of the revenue of the loans actually, the group income. So 63% goes to Singapore, and then they have 27% from Greater China, which includes Hong Kong and the mainland China. So actually Hong Kong takes up quite a bit of revenue. They really contribute quite a bit of revenue in terms of for DBS. And last but not least, they have about 10% from other part of Southeast Asia. Okay, so this is something that, in my opinion, not too bad. At least they're diversifying. But if you really want to compare with UOB, which I covered last week, 2 weeks ago, UOB is even more diversified in terms of their percentage. So you can see for Singapore, Singapore revenue is contributing to 63%, okay, which is really the majority. But on the other hand, for UOB, it's just about or slightly above 50%. So the overseas income from other parts of Southeast Asia, such as Thailand, such as Malaysia, are greater. And the China part is also pretty decent there. So that's why eventually the UOB group income in general are slightly more diversified, less concentrated as compared to DBS. All right. So that's the first thing that you can compare. And if you want to look at like the individual locations, right? So they also break down for you, and which I think is very helpful. You can see that 47% actually come from, if you look at 2019, okay, 47% come from Singapore, and then you see 15% comes from Hong Kong. So Hong Kong is indeed quite a significant contributing city to UOB's revenue as well. Then the rest are from Greater China, Southeast Asia, and the rest of the world, right? So, but that's the first thing you want to look at. Is this diversified in terms of region? So actually, DBS does pass the criteria. It's quite diversified through regions as well. And then second thing is, after you see the regions, you want to check out, are they diversified in terms of type of loans? And you can see it's quite diversified because it does give out to manufacturing, also loans to building and constructions, housing loans, general commerce, transportation. So all these different type of loans. So even though one industry may not be doing very well, it's still okay because other sectors are still moving, and that's how they can ensure that they can recoup back the money that they truly lend out. So that is important in terms of as a bank. Okay, so in the meantime, if you have any questions, just put it in the comment so that I can answer you along the way. All right, so that is for the third criteria. All right, so this is the fourth criteria in terms of non-performing loans, and the reason why we want to make sure the non-performing loan stay less than 2% is because non-performing loan, what does that mean? Is it means money that is supposed to at least give you some form of interest payment or at least pay you back some principal, but it never happened. So basically the person who borrowed money just ignore all the payment, right? All the payment for 90 days to 180 days, which is relatively long. So this has a tendency to really become bad debts. When they become bad debts, they have to be write off, right? So when they write off, the banks really absorb the losses. So we want to make sure the non-performing loan, which is a tendency to become the bad debt, to be as little as possible. So we want it to be less than 2%. Okay, so you can see that for non-performing loan ratio back in 2019, it's about 1.5. In 2018, it's also about 1.5%. So it's generally still healthy, still below our 2% requirement mark. So this is something that we want to see. All right, but I also want to let you guys know that COVID-19, it's really giving a lot of impact to many businesses out there, so especially SME, right? So that's why the non-performing loan in terms of bad debts has increased quite a bit. Okay, so later on we are also going to delve deeper into the quarterly results. All right, so how JS is asking, how about upcoming new fintech company Alipay will compete with traditional banks? Yes, I agree. Hey, actually, come to think of it, do you use PayLah? Okay, if you use PayLah, right, which is developed by DBS lah. Okay, so they are one of the banks. Or if you use PayLah, please type PayLah so that I know how many PayLah users are here right now. Okay, because DBS, out of the three banks, right, I consider them to be the most tech-driven banks. In terms of they having this initiative to launch PayLah, their apps. Of course, every bank has their apps right now. I think the apps wise, it doesn't differ so much. It's still very, very user friendly. So I think the only differentiator factor for me, for DBS and the rest of banks, is they have PayLah. But personally, I don't use PayLah, and because I don't see the need of using PayLah. So I also want to see, how about you guys? If you use PayLah, please type PayLah. But if you don't use, right, then please type don't use. Okay, so that I know both of whether you guys use it or not. So in terms of other fintech company, right, like Alipay, GrabPay, I do see them having impact in terms of transferring monies and everything. So that's why DBS is also trying to play the game into this fintech area. Okay, but nevertheless, at the end of the day, right, in my opinion, like for example, if you use Alipay, the money that you transfer or maybe you store inside your wallet, you still may want to consider transfer back to your bank, right? Okay, in order to maybe do something that you want, like maybe withdraw cash or maybe earn a little bit of interest. I'm not sure. So because if you store in Alipay, I think there's no interest. I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure about it. Okay, pay later. Use pay later. Use pay now. Okay, PayLah will be sunset. Yeah, I also don't use PayLah, seriously. I use PayNow lah, if I need to send my friends money. So PayNow is not owned by DBS. It's owned by an association in Singapore, and all banks can use PayNow. So there's no PayNow app. It's just PayNow function integrated with the banking services. All right. So many use PayNow and not PayLah, right? Yeah, I also find PayLah quite pointless. So yep, so that's why I don't see it to be a really advantage in terms of they doing PayLah, but I'm not sure how they want to integrate it in the future. All right. So the next thing that you want to consider is return on asset. All right. And the reason why we want to look at ROA is because it's telling us how efficient is the bank using its asset to generate profits, right? Generate income. And actually, according to Warren Buffett, right, if a bank can have an ROA of 1.3%, it's really considered a very decent ROA. And in general, if you have a decent ROA like this, right, it's also very unlikely for the banks to be selling below its book value. All right. And later on, I will cover a little bit more about book value. Okay, if you don't understand what is book value, but if you look at the ROA, you can see that across these years, right, actually ROA has been increasingly increasing on a steady pace, right? So I think it was, although it doesn't hit that 1.3 benchmark, but I think actually as long as it's above 1, it's considered very decent. Actually similar to UOB. UOB is about 1 as well. So I think most of the banks in general, they operate in a relatively efficient way. But I think out of so many banks, DBS is probably one of the most efficient one. Yeah, because they do focus a lot on technologies as well. Okay, so now, okay, let's take a look at wow, I think today I talked damn fast. I talked like, now it's only 8 o'clock and I cover more or less until there. So now, right, I'm going to cover DBS Q2 results, which will include both Q1 and Q2, so that you guys can see how it has been transformed, or how much COVID has impacted the business, right, since beginning of COVID, right? So once again, if you do find this video helpful, please feel free to share it out so that your friends and more people, maybe investors out there, before they decide to invest, they should be going through a proper way of analyzing before investing any money. All right. So yeah, thanks for sharing out, everyone. And yeah, let's take a look at the Q2 and Q1 results. So the first slide that I'm sharing right now here is the first half. Okay, so first half means first half of the year. So first half of 2020 compared to first half of 2019, right? So you can see actually the net interest income didn't drop, right? Which is actually a good thing, because the first half of 2019, it was 4739, right? So now it actually just increased a little bit. It actually increased to 4785. In my opinion, actually it's a good thing, because despite the interest rate has been lowered, right, the net interest income actually continued to increase, right? So then it goes to the next question is, how come with the interest margin being lower, the interest rate flattening becomes smaller, how come the bank is still able to generate more net interest income? If you actually see below, right, if you see just below the the lowest line, right, which is the customer deposits, you can see that actually more people are putting money in the bank. Okay, and that's why even with the margin lowering, they have more money to play with, and that's how they can generate more net interest income. So that's why the first criteria, growth in deposits, it's important, because that's how they can actually make more money despite the fact that the interest rate is lowering. Okay, so The second thing that I'm also happy to see is the customer loans, okay, which is a second, lower second line, right? The customer loans are also increasing. So customers are still borrowing money from them. And that's how DBS can continue to earn more interest income, right? So these three things are healthy sign, right? Healthy. But in the meantime, something that is not very healthy, it's in the middle, okay, the third line, allowances for credit and other losses. So you can see that the first half of the 2020 and first half of 2019, it has increased tremendously, like 6 times, okay, almost 600% increment in terms of allowance for credit and other losses. So once again, because of COVID-19 situation, a lot of businesses are shutting down, they are delaying payments, they are unable to pay back money, and that's why they are really losing money they have to write off, right? So this is not something that is very happy to see, and it's actually permanent across all banks. I checked UOB. Once again, UOB also facing the same issue. They also face a lot of credit losses during this period of time. So that's why it's very important to see, despite all these losses, right, does the bank still maintain the non-performing loan percentage to be low, right? So if it's still low, so that means the banks are still able to withstand these losses, and they cater buffer enough cash to buffer this, then it's still financially stable. Okay, that's important. Okay, so just now we were comparing between first half of the year and 2019 first half of the year, right? So if you want to compare quarter to quarter, which is the quarter 1 and quarter 2 of 2020, you can see that the net interest income actually decreased a bit. Okay, so compared to quarter 1, which is just a few months ago, the net interest income has decreased a bit. If you compare with second quarter of 2019, which is last year, it also has decreased a little bit. All right, so but the good thing that I enjoy seeing is allowance for credit losses compared to last quarter actually decreased. Okay, so you can see last quarter was 1086, right? But this quarter has been decreased to 849. So with the economy started to recover and the business started to run, function better, okay, the credit losses become smaller. So this is in my opinion, it's a happy sign. But of course, it's still not so good because there's still being a lot of things being defaulted, right? So, okay, so Clarence have the question, has this accounted for the giant oil trader Hin Long? Oh, wow. I think I'm not 100% sure about that, okay? Because these three banks, right, like Clarence point out, it does face a lot of losses because of these oil trader issue. So I'm not 100% sure about that, but I can go and find out. I think it's a very good question to point out. Yeah, so I'm not too sure, but it's very valid question to be dig out further. All right, so maybe it probably included. Okay, but I have to go and find out. Okay, so the third thing is the customer loans. Okay, so once again, if you look at the customer deposits compared quarter to quarter, last quarter and this quarter, it also continued to increase. Customer loans, it also continued to increase. So that's why I think the overall confidence, the overall stability is still there, and the allowance for credit losses actually started to decrease. All right, so how about Wirecard scandal? Okay, so actually for Wirecard scandal, Pete, which is one of a very solid investor, he covered this topic 1 month ago. So you can watch back his video because this topic has nothing to do with Wirecard, but you can watch his video. He actually covered pretty much in depth. All right. So the next thing is, if you want to look at the net interest margin right now, okay, so the first 1.62 is the current quarter, the current situation right now. So 1.62, you can see it has decreased, right? Decreased from last year, also has decreased from last quarter, right? And then the ROA also has decreased from the original last year 1.13. And it's definitely because of the COVID situation right now. But one thing that I am still happy to see is the NPL ratio, which is a non-performing loan ratio, remain to be about 1.5 still 1.5. So in a way, I think the financial structure, the overall stability is still intact. Okay, so that's why I am not so worried in a way, because I know overall is still okay. And if you give it time, I believe long-term economy, Southeast Asia will recover. The Singapore will continue to do well. So that's why DBS right now, it may not be very, very attractive with all the banking or the margin being decreasing, but overall, I think the structure is still intact. Okay, so if you want to compare with UOB, right? So if you want to compare with UOB, let's take a look. So you can see UOB actually similar to DBS, all right? So the first half of the year and first half of the year of 2019, the net interest income, if you see, okay, for UOB it was a decrease, right? But for DBS, it was actually an increase. So in this case, actually DBS fared better compared to last year, despite of the lowering interest income, lowering interest margin, yet it fared better. On the other hand, UOB, it does have a slight drop compared to last year due to COVID situation. Okay, so in this way, DBS is slightly stronger. All right, so you can see the allowance for credit losses for UOB, it's also increased quite a lot, right? Almost 4 times, right? Almost 4 times compared to first half a year of 2019. Now it's 682. On the other hand, last year was just 144. So the same situation is happening in DBS and UOB as well. Okay, and the net profit definitely dropped because of the losses that they have to account for, right? So and on the other hand, for UOB, once again, actually their customer loans has also been increasing, and their customer deposits has also been increasing as well. But I think the reason why the net income, which is the net interest income, UOB doesn't perform as well is because, once again, DBS is the largest deposits in Singapore, so they do have more scale of making more money, and that's how UOB doesn't perform as well as last year. On the other hand, DBS actually outperformed in terms of the net interest income. Okay, so so you can see the net interest margin pretty similar as well. Now it's for UOB it's 1.6. For DBS, it's about net interest income. Where is it? Net interest in margin. Okay, so 1.6, right? So DBS 1.62, UOB is 1.6. Not much difference. Okay, I'm pretty sure for UOB shouldn't be too different as well. Okay, if you look at the ROA, return on assets, for UOB, it's about the same as DBS as well. So in general, because of the current situation right now, banks are not doing fantastically well. In most of their performance has decreased. But in my opinion, it's not a permanent impact. So I'm still willing to invest in banks right now, despite of the current situation. But of course, when I am investing in banks like UOB and DBS and OCBC, right, I invest using CPF. Okay, and the reason why I want to use CPF is because I can't really use the cash, the CPF as much as I wanted to. For me to use cash. So for my cash, I will use it for US equities. I will use it for Hong Kong equities. On the other hand, for all my Singapore stocks, right, I just use CPF, right? I think it's a better way of using CPF rather than just using it for housing and stuff, right? Because now I don't really own HDB yet, so I don't really need to use my use CPF to buy houses. So different people are different, but if you are like me, you don't really urgently need to use your CPF, then you can actually consider using CPF to invest in Singapore stocks, right? So how will the US election affect Singapore banks? This question I cannot say for sure, because I think the US election in general, they will definitely impact impact a lot of things, okay, especially different sectors. So banking, I can't say for sure about that, okay. But I think if you are looking at on long-term investing, actually regardless of who is the president, the economy will still continue to do well over time, okay. So you just give it a longer time frame rather than short term trying to have a quick gain in certain area, then you will invest with more peace of mind. Okay, so great minds think alike. Thank you. All right. So if you look at the current price right now, the dividend yield for DBS, it's about 5.57%. And this is actually higher compared to UOB, right? So if you are entering on the perspective of owning it for long term, but at the same time, you still want to own for like, hey, I still get to collect dividend nevertheless, right? So actually the current dividend yield does look pretty attractive. It's more than like 5.5%, which if you put in a fixed D or you put inside any unit trust, maybe I don't think they can even give you 5.57% per annum return, right? So this is one criteria, one key things to look at. Okay, Sam is asking, how do you use CPF to invest? So as long as you have, for myself, I use CIMB. So I open a brokerage account with CIMB, and you just need to open an account, fill out certain forms, and you make sure you have to link your CPF to that, and then you can use CPF to invest already. So I know other of my circle of friends, maybe Sean, he used Poyant. So it depends on what you want to use. But as long as you Google Singapore brokerage firms, then you can actually definitely find one and open one very, very easily. It's much easier compared to opening up a US account, right? Because now a lot of people want to open US account like Pink or Swim. They need to wait for a long time. But Singapore, in general, the time frame is still very fast. You can open up very, very quickly. Okay, so this is a snapshot of the final comparison in terms of its valuation method. All right, so these data I extracted out from Morningstar. Right, so if you want, I extracted today, so I think relatively it's accurate. But if you want to just make sure one more time, right, do check out their annual reports or maybe quarterly reports to get the most updated information. So for DBS, the price to book right now. So what does price to book mean? The book value per share means like now, imagine just any, like maybe the worst scenario happen that DBS decide to close shop, right? You decide to close shop, they decide to like maybe declare bankruptcy, I don't know, like just in case, or maybe they want to privatize the company. Okay, so in this case, they will have to once they close shop, they need to sell away all their assets, right? They sell away all their assets, they get back all the money back, and then they still have to pay back all the debts, all the loans that they have, right? So they pay back everything. The rest of the money belongs to the shareholders, right? So the shareholders, as you are getting back, right, that means you are getting back some of your money back. Okay, so in this scenario, your price, which is the stock price today, compared to the book value that they have, which is the value that you will be getting back as a shareholder. Now it's 0.98. So that means if you invest today, actually you invest today, you actually get back more than your investment amount back to you. Okay, you get what I mean? So because it's less than 1. So if it's more than 1, that means the amount that you will get back today, you will be lesser than the amount that you invested. So if that is more than 1, but now it's less than 1. So whatever amount that you invested in, right, you not only get back your full amount, you also get back a little bit of buffer and margin, which is the 0.02. So in this case, DBS now it's less than the price to book value. And in this case, if you are an investor, actually it's a good scenario, because even though DBS decide to close shop today, you actually get back all your money and you still get back a little bit more money than you actually invested in. On the other hand, you see UOB actually is 0.81. So that means you even have you have more buffer than DBS, and your margin of safety is even higher. So in this case, actually UOB have more margin of safety. And if you compare these two criteria, UOB does seems to be a better alternative, a better choice, because you have more margin of safety as an investment. Okay. On the other hand, there's another school of thoughts of, hey, I want to invest for dividend, right? If I want to invest for dividend, I definitely want to have a higher dividend yield. So according to Morningstar, which is different from the Google just now, that's why it's important for you to do your final check, right? So according to Morningstar, the dividend yield is 6.96%. I was like, really? I got so high, man. Yeah. So Morningstar said it's so high. And then on the other hand, for UOB, it's 4.81%. So dividend yield wise, DBS looks more attractive. Okay, so yeah, so it depends on whether you want to invest for dividend yield. Okay, if you want dividend yield, DBS does seems to be a better opportunity right now. But on the other hand, if you want to be like really safer in terms of, even though today the bank decide to close, I still get back money and I actually get back more than I actually invested in, right? So in that case, as a PB probably is a better choice, right? So which one would you prefer? Okay, which one would you prefer? So if you prefer DBS, please type DBS. If you prefer UOB, based on this valuation method, okay, if you prefer UOB, please type UOB. Okay. Yes. Okay. So DBS debt to equity more than one. In general, for banks, right? Because there are banks, they usually the fact that they get the money, which is from the deposits, right? They are considered debt, right? Like, so it's very hard to evaluate banks using debt to equity. Yeah. So as long as the non-performing loan remain to be less, and then they still have they still have more deposits than loan, actually it's generally okay, right? So DBS, okay. There is a dividend cap suggested by MAS, right? Okay, so you need to have your CDP account and get the local banks to open a CPI. So Clarence is saying about how do you open an account and use CPF to invest. Okay, DBS has a historical higher CAGR. Okay, so all right. Okay, so more people vote for DBS. Okay, so Yurin is asking for OCBC. So OCBC, if you are interested in, then maybe I can do a part 3 to cover OCBC, because today I don't have the time to cover for OCBC. All right, so if you're interested in, just let me know. You can type interested in, then maybe next week I can cover OCBC instead of other stocks. All right, so not much have such use as MAS encouraged banks to cap dividend at 60% last year. All right, thanks for all the information. Okay, so what about Chinese banks, ICBC or Bank of China? Ted is asking about Chinese banks. If you want to invest in Chinese banks, it's also possible. You can use the same criteria to look at other Chinese banks. And I know for Chinese banks, ICBC and BOC, they do give more than 5% dividend yield. Yeah. So you can use that same criteria and see for yourself whether you want to invest in the Chinese banks. Yep. I vote for ICBC. Okay. Right. So Moses said you prefer DBS, and then DBS has goodwill over UOB, and DBS has won best banks. Yeah, that's true. DBS won the best banks awards, and generally most Singaporeans and expats will open DBS over UOB. That's true, and that's why DBS is the largest banks in Singapore, and they have more branches. They definitely also have more maybe branding in terms of this. Yes. Okay. So where can we find all this data? The data can be found on the annual reports. Okay, everything can be found in the annual report or quarterly earning results. Okay. Right, so interested in OCBC. Banks are sunset industry. So Javon thinks banks are sunset industry. So yeah, it's important that depending on your own risk appetite and depending on your own portfolio, whether you want to consider adding banks inside. So for myself, I invest in banks for using CPF because I think it's a wiser allocation of CPF rather than just putting in a bank, right? So okay, and okay, so today, right? So like I mentioned earlier, today it's also Tabata Thursday. Okay, so actually today I have two very, very amazing guests in office where they are the founder of this company called FeelFit, and they do Tabata with their followers, with their fans every Thursday. And just nice today, actually, I was having a discussion with them to consider launching some conference together. So just nice that they are here. I say, hey, why not you guys stay over? Like, and do Tabata together with us. So I think they are setting up. Okay, so I think they're setting up. Let me just check with them. I will just bring you up and do Tabata. So, are you ready to do exercise? Okay, because it's important to exercise in the meantime. Are you guys ready to do exercise? 8:30, is it?
Yes.
Okay, so they are Saudi and Bernie. They are the founder of FeelFit. I'm going Facebook Live right now. So I should do this. I should do this. Okay, so 10 more minutes. So they're getting ready. And in the meantime, I am also going to get ready. So yeah, if you do want, join us for the Tabata. And after that, actually, I'm going to have another live show very soon. Today it's a long time marathon together. Okay, so before I introduce about Tabata, right? Okay, because they are still getting ready. Okay, so what happened is right after this show, about 9 p.m. So Tabata is only 10 minutes, so you don't need to do a one hour workout. It's just a 10 minutes workout, and after that we will call for a break. And at 9 p.m. I am actually hosting another live on my page together with these. Actually, she is also a lady investor, but she is also a makeover coach. So her name is Jera. So we'll be going live together at 9 p.m. where we actually talk about and delve deeper into one of the amazing lady called Michelle Obama. Everybody know her, right? But she is a very successful lady in terms of like, not only she is the first, African black lady, I shouldn't say that. She's the first lady, right? Barack Obama's wife. But at the same time, right, actually she graduated from Harvard Law School, very, very capable. And at the same time, she also helped Barack Obama so much during his his presidency, and even now she's doing so much for the children, for the organization, for the charity. So I felt that she is a very, very great and inspiring lady to be learned from, and she has 5 successful habits, okay, that she does almost every day, and that's why she become who she is today. So that's why I'm inviting Jera tonight to actually go through together with us exactly what are her secrets, all right, and to become a successful lady like Barack Obama, or like Michelle Obama. So yeah, I will be also sharing some of my daily routine, some of the habits that I cultivated over time to become a better investor, to become a better person in general, right? So do stay tuned. It will be going live on my own Facebook page, not Endless. So if you do want to learn, you can go to my Facebook page, and later on I'll be going live at 9 p.m. So you can go www.facebook.com/ChloeLinLive, right? So that is for 9 p.m. So in the meantime, I'm just going to check on other questions. All right. So has script dividend, is it worth to subscribe to shares using the dividends? So I think, Raymond, it depends on you whether you want to actually subscribe to shares instead. I think it's really your personal choice, okay? You will be more conservative, so depends on individuals. Okay, so Clarence think US banks are more aggressive and getting a huge time bomb. Okay, so but actually for US banks, right, even though they are more aggressive, but they have really tamed down a lot since 2008, because 2008 when the financial crisis happened, actually all the banks, they also learned that lesson. So in general, the US banks are not as aggressive as it used to be. They now have a lot more measures than last time. So in my opinion, actually, if you go through some of the criteria that I cover in some US banks, such as BAC or maybe US Bank Corp, actually they are generally also very healthy banks in general. Okay, but it's good to go through by yourself as well. Okay, so to evaluate investment banks. This one actually for investment banks, I mean like for like banks in nature, they do carry out investments. So you can use the criteria to do it, but the specific, maybe there is slight nuances and difference. So I am not 100% sure whether you can use the exact criteria, but it's definitely good to go through the criteria and see whether does your investment bank at least fulfill those criteria as well. Okay. And how to join the Buffett course? Oh, you mean the Buffett online school? You mean the Buffett Online School course? Is that what you mean? If you mean that, please let me know. Okay. So thank you so much. But in between, right? For now, for Buffett Online School, we don't really offer course per se, but we do have our e-course, like e-course. So if you go to the next level, which is we have a platform which is called financialjoy.club, where we actually have a lot of different e-courses, right? So Sean, he also has an e-course that touches about 7 days investing. So how can you become a solid investor? What are the things that you should be doing? What are the valuation methods that you should be looking at? He actually covered in his e-course as well. And if you want to learn more about investing, maybe you can also consider going for maybe our free introductory workshop. We do have free introductory workshop for you to learn about investing if you are interested in. All right. So what is the best strategy? Dollar cost averaging or buy big when price is low? Okay, can you send me the link? Okay, hold on. Maybe let me reply JS first. So what is the best strategy? It depends on your portfolio as well. Are you someone who actually has quite a big sum already, maybe from your years of working, years of saving, you do have quite a big sum, then you should consider invest substantially. Okay, what do I mean is rather than just buy like maybe buy 100 shares or buy I don't know, but depending on your portfolio as well, maybe 100 shares is quite substantial depending on you. But if your portfolio is big, right, do consider going a substantial amount in your position, so that when you earn money, right, when the stock price pick up, you are also generating a substantial return. Okay, you get what I mean? Because if you sometimes invest too little, even though the stock price will increase by 20%, 30%, you actually just earn a little bit because you only invest a little bit. So my advice is diversify, choose your top 10 to 12 stocks that you are super confident with, and then allocate your amount wisely into them. And when you enter, you also enter by batches, right? Rather than a show hand, your $10,000 go into one stock, show hand, right? You can maybe use this $10,000, you can decide to enter by phases, right? Maybe the first now at this price you enter 20%, and then when they drop further you enter another 20%, and that's how you can also cost averaging down as you use a substantial amount to invest. Okay, so I hope that answered your question. So Red Suns, later on I can send you the link. Okay, you can PM me if you want to, so that I won't forget to send you the link. Okay, so without further ado, I think we are almost getting ready. Okay, to do Tabata. Are you guys ready? Are you guys ready? So are we doing here? You're doing here, right?
Yeah, we're still trying to set up.
We are still trying to set up. Okay, yeah. So do we play music while we do this?
We're gonna have a timer that's on our setup.
Okay.
So that will prompt when to start and when to stop the exercises and stuff like that. So actually all you need to do is just to follow along, just follow me.
Okay. So it's like is it like a pop song when you guys play, or just timer?
It's a timer with a little bit of a background music.
I see. Okay. Because I'm supposed to go for a challenge. While like the challenge is to sing a song.
Okay. Alright. So you want to sing along when I exercise?
Yeah. I was thinking about that. Okay, so are you guys ready?
So are you singing, or are you singing and doing the exercise?
Or maybe singing and doing the exercise. Is it possible? Is it possible?
It will be a challenge.
It will be a challenge,
yeah.
Okay. Are you guys up for the challenge? Okay. So I think that's a very good feedback as well. Like brokerage fee is in Singapore, generally the brokerage fee for Singapore stock is about $20. So if you buy sell, it's like $40. So that's why I don't encourage buy and sell. If you are interested in long-term investing, you buy, and even though the stock price drop, you can actually consider to enter second phase, right? So that's how you cost average down, and if it's a good industry, a good sector, over time it will increase in price, right? So you minimize the unnecessary transaction fee. Okay. So with that, we are just getting ready with few feet. So I need to get ready as well. I need to put on sports attire. Okay, actually I really get put on spot so tired. I just need to do this.
Okay.
Okay, so anybody here do Tabata before? If you do Tabata before, right, please type Tabata. Actually, it's the first time me doing Tabata.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Usually it's 10 minutes workout, right?
10 minutes. Actually, effectively, it will just be 8 minutes.
8 minutes.
Yeah.
Will I sweat a lot?
If you do it at the right intensity, yes. You
Really?
will
Yeah.
sweat. Yes.
Okay, are you guys ready or not? I'm ready yet. I'm ready. I'm in my sport shoes. But is it okay if I join your Facebook Live?
Yeah. Sure.
It's okay, right? So feel free. They are going Facebook Live on their page as well. You can also check out their Facebook page in the meantime. Okay, Tabata, Vera. Oh wow, a lot of you do Tabata before. Good luck. Rempa say Tabata. Good luck. Thanks.
You want to, so you can look at the.
I'm still looking at that one, right?
Yeah, so this is the camera. That's your timer. You hold it.
Okay.
Something is not coming in.
She's helping to flash the exercises.
Okay.
Going live.
All right.
Going live. Let's go.
4, 3, 2, 1.
Hi everyone, welcome to another day.
NG.
Okay.
Going live.
You are on.
Live.
All right, we are live. Okay, so hi everyone, welcome to another day of Tabata Thursday. Today, as you can see, the background is a little bit different, so you might be wondering, where am I? Right? And
Guys, do it
actually,
together.
it doesn't matter where I am. The important thing is every Thursday we are going to come on to do Tabata Thursday. Okay, and today I have a very special guest with me. This is Chloe.
Hello, everyone.
Yeah, so Chloe, why don't you just tell people who don't know, who may not know you, a little bit more about yourself?
Oh, okay. Hi, everyone. I'm Chloe. I'm from the next level, doing investing, teaching people how to invest through education. So I'm very happy to join FeelFit tonight to learn about Tabata. Yeah, they're all ready.
All right, so thanks for the introduction. We learn from each other, okay? All right, so for those who are joining us, okay, just type your names in the comments so that we know who you are, okay? So just type your names, and then once you have typed your names, all right, let's just start off with some jogging on the spot.
Okay, jogging on the spot.
Guys,
we have to jog on the spot.
Okay, jog on the spot. All right, so today we're going to be doing 4 different exercises, different types of jacks. So some of you will have heard of jumping jacks before, but we're going to be doing different variations. Okay, from here, let's go. High knees. By the way, this is just a warm-up, huh?
Okay.
So are you going to sing later?
I think it's okay. I cannot complete the task. Cannot sing.
Okay, back to jogging. Okay, and butt kicks. Okay, so from here, your heels go towards your bum.
You know, this morning I already exercised.
I
I played Ring Fit.
Are you trying to
Now I'm
play
really
your way
fit.
out of this now? Okay, back to jogging. Okay, so from here, we need to spread out a little bit more. All right, so we're going to be working our shoulders also. So we want to swing our arms. Okay, warming up the chest. And then up and down this way.
Nice. I'm feeling the sweat coming out.
Yeah, I thought you say you hardly sweat.
Okay, I'm feeling the heat.
Okay, imagine you're holding a huge steering wheel and just rotating. Okay, and relax. All right, just shake it out. So how are you feeling?
Feeling the heat.
Feeling the heat? Okay, I hope all of you are warmed up as well. Okay, so just keep moving around, and then I'm going to show you my first 2 exercises. Okay, the first 2 exercises, the first one, we're going to be doing cross jacks. Okay, so you're just going to start like this. Okay, jump, cross, open, and the other way. Okay, so we're going to do it faster.
Okay.
Got it?
Got it.
Okay, So that's the first one. The second one we're going to be doing is called plank jacks. Okay, we're going to be in a plank position, so on the floor, like this. Okay, and then we're going to open, and close. Okay, so you want to make sure that your shoulders are always above your wrist.
Okay.
All right. Can I?
Okay.
Okay, so
Guys, you need to join few feet so that you can see our posture.
okay, so I'm going to move back a little bit more so that you can see our full body when we're doing the plank jacks. Okay, so it looks like this. Open and close.
Okay, can see. Very good.
Can I? Okay, so I'm going to start the timer. All right, so just give me a moment. Okay.
Wow,
getting
still
ready.
have 100 people doing Tabata with you. Oh my god.
All right, get ready. In 3, 2, 1, and go. Keep it up. Chloe, I thought you were gonna sing. Not gonna sing?
What should I sing? Gerard, give me a song. Let it go.
Okay, almost there. 3, 2, 1, and rest. Okay, we're going to do our plank jacks.
Okay.
Okay, get ready. Ready and go. Just open and close.
What muscles are we training?
Okay, this one really works your core, and because you need to stabilize yourself, you also need to have good shoulder stability.
Wow.
Keep it up.
This is
3,
more tiring than
2,
gym.
1, and easy. Okay, that was one round.
Okay.
3 more rounds to go.
Okay.
And up.
I can do it.
You
I
can do it. All right.
Let
Ready
it go.
and go. Okay, we're back to the power jacks. 10 seconds more. Keep it going. 3, 2, 1, and easy.
Okay.
All right. Plank jacks coming up. 5 more seconds of break. Okay, on the ground. Let's go. Open and close. Very nice, Chloe. Keep it up. Okay, those joining us, good job. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and easy. Round 2. Okay, we are halfway through.
Are you guys trying? You have to try it. Very sure.
Okay, go. Power jacks. Doing well. Doing okay?
Yes.
All right, awesome. 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Rest.
So after 4th set, no more already, right?
No, we have 2 more exercises.
I know. Oh my god.
Get ready and go. Plank jacks. All right, remember to keep your core tight. Your eyes always in front of you. Oh my god. 5 seconds. Keep going. Okay, the alternative is like this. Okay, step out to the side. Okay, and break. Well done. Okay,
Okay.
one more round.
I have no time to breathe.
Okay, go. Are you sweating? I hope you're breaking into a sweat.
Yeah, a little bit. I'm sweating already.
5 seconds. 3, 2, 1, and break. Okay, one more. Plank jacks, and then we take a longer break, okay? Get ready. Okay, and go. Okay, remember you can do this tap version if you want to, okay? 10 seconds more. Go, Chloe, go. And break. Okay,
surviving. Oh my god, you have 70 people. Please.
Okay, catch your breath.
Okay.
Catch your breath.
Can I drink
Breath
water?
in and out, yeah. Go grab some water.
This is nice.
Okay guys, so while you're resting, let me just go through the next two exercises, okay? Alright, first one, we're going to do power jacks. Okay, starting with your hands next to you like this, feet together. And we are going to open into a squat and come back.
Okay.
Okay, so just try that. Yeah, so when you open, you imagine you're sitting down on the chair. Yes. Sit back a bit more. So instead of like having your knees out in front, okay, just sit back. So sit back and come back. Yeah. Okay, so that is the first exercise. Okay, if you can't do the jumping version, then you just step out to the side, come back in, step out to the other side, and come back in.
Okay.
Okay, so that's the alternative. And then the other exercise, we're going to put our hands here. It's going to be a little bit of a funny move. It will just be like this.
Like clown.
Like a clown, that's right. Okay, so the format is the same. 20 seconds of work, 10 seconds of break. Okay, 4 rounds of each of these two exercises.
Okay.
All right, let's go. Let me just set up the timer. Okay.
Okay.
All right, starting off with the power jacks. This one. Okay, get ready and go. 20 seconds from here. Good. Okay, you can do it at your own pace. If you can go faster than me, go faster than me. If you need to slow it down, slow it down. Okay, and break.
Okay.
Okay, next one, this one,
Okay.
Okay. In 3, 2, 1, and go.
I didn't know clown position is so tiring.
Too tiring to be a clown sometimes.
It's tiring to be a clown. Oh my god.
3, 2, 1, and break.
Okay.
Okay, 1 round down, 3 more to go. Good job, everybody.
Is this the last two exercises?
Yes.
Oh,
Okay.
let's do it.
Okay, let's go. Very nice. Keep it up. 10 seconds. And break. Oh, good job, Chloe. Keep it up. All right, those tuning in, good job as well.
Good job. You guys are doing great. Awesome.
Yeah. Okay, Rocky Jacks, let's go. Good job, good job. Good job, good job.
Now I know why you want to keep short hair.
Yeah. And break. How many rounds? 2 rounds right here?
Yes, 2 more
Okay,
rounds.
2 more to go, everybody.
Okay.
You can ready and go. Power jacks. Good job, Chloe. Those tuning in, good job. 5 more seconds.
Okay. 4, 3, 2.
And break.
Oh,
Well done.
wow, this is good.
Breathe. Breathe. 3, 2, 1, and go. Rocky jacks. Keep it up. 10 seconds. Keep breathing. 3, 2, 1, break. Good job, good job. We're down to the very last round for each.
Last one, last one.
Good job, guys. Ready, go. Doing well, Chloe.
Okay.
10 seconds, guys. Keep going. 5 seconds. 4. Yeah. And break. Okay, one last wacky jacks. 3, 2, 1, go. All right, let's go all the way. Give it all you got. Keep it up. Keep it up. Doing well. Doing well. 5 seconds. All the way. 3, 2, 1. Good job.
Oh
Good job. Good job.
my god.
All right.
Oh my god.
All
Guys,
right. How do you feel?
I'm feeling so good. Oh my god, did you guys do it?
Go sit down first. Walk
Okay.
around.
I'll walk around.
All right. Thanks for joining us, everybody. I hope you had a good workout. Okay. All right. Catch your breath. Okay. Remember, as always, to cool down, do your stretches. We did a lot of digs today, so you can hold and just kick through. And other side, and just kick through. Okay, so that's a very simple thing for your thighs. Okay, for your arms, stretching out the shoulders. Okay, and the other side. All right, so I hope you had a good workout.
Yay!
Thanks for tuning in.
Thanks.
Thanks for joining me, Chloe.
Thank you so much, Bunny.
What?
Next 6 Thursday.
Okay, so just an announcement. Okay, thanks for the reminder. Next Thursday onwards, Tabata Thursday is going to be at 8 p.m. instead of 8:30. Okay? So we are still going to be here just a little bit earlier. Okay, so see you. And as always, with You Fit, we are never too busy to be fit.
Yay!
All
Feel
right.
fit rocks.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
All right, guys, I'm back. Hope you guys enjoyed the workout. And yeah, do follow Feel Fit if you want to have that workout together with them every Thursday, 8 p.m. All right, just go and Feel Fit. Check out their Facebook page. Very, very awesome thing that they're doing. Okay, so I will be going live in 15 minutes with Jera on my Facebook page. And thanks for tuning in. And hope you guys enjoy the workout as well. Okay, see you. I'm going to drink
If
water.
you think she did a good job, say good job, Chloe.
Yes, oh my god, I'm gonna have a good night's sleep. Thanks. I see you also feel tired. Wendy, why you never do? Why you never do together with me, Wendy? Okay, bye guys.